我这容易下不来的只有他，这谁下不来？咱就说这谁下不来。
不是，那这么高，一个都没
下不来。这个地理也不错。
看我一直这样往下还有10分钟，现在离开始上课还有，哎我操！哎，别撞到了，别撞到了。
真有气势。
上课应该是1点，现在是。
哪来的球啊？
哦，也是，万一排个队啥的。对。
修一山太强了。
然后还来火车了。估计再等2分钟就来。
啥呀？
火车。
火车轨道不会是在一个山上的？
我也是这么觉得的，因为我从远看去，我以为这下面是一条河，然后走近了发现是一条河。
全是水。
走吧，回去吧。不等。
Why? Ooh. Pelican, is that you who's been all triggered by me, trying to hurt me, criticizing me for everything you do towards me in your comments, but you say that I do it? Well, that's great, man. That's good on you, if you can realize. I am in fact natty when you see this lighting. No, no, not you, Julian. Not you, Julian. I see this Pelican guy. He said, get into it. It's good in the sun with some chin-up bars. It looks like body weight for traps. Yeah. I'm right now. So I'm gonna go back to be silent a bit. You saw that some of you have talked. But I want to say, Pelican, if that is you, that's good on you, because I went quite hard on you. It's tough on the ego to have to admit you were wrong. So, that's awesome, man. That's great work. Because that was the point, right? Trigger you so you get the chance to understand something. Yes, what I'm doing now is I came home from vacation yesterday. So today, since the sun came out, and I would usually train earlier in the morning. It was crappy weather, but I did some other work. And I'm still a little off balance, from the vacation, like feeling good and all. But so I'm just having a very unstructured workout. I just try to hit everything upper body. I train upper body on Mondays, so it's just more freestylish out in the sun like this in the middle of the summer. Yeah. So now I'm gonna try a bit of a unilateral row for more lats. Might do something a bit more for rear delts, upper back. Then some arms with the rings. That's probably it. And then if you've talked some more in the chat, if you're still around, I might just, talk to you before I finish this. I'm listening to music. Not now when I was talking, but... So you will see that I have more supersets, more just, keeping the flow of the workout going. This is not how I structure my training. When I really actively push for progress, bulk and stuff, this is typical, just good feels to press save on the gains, as I call it, during the summer. Like every day when it's possible to train outside, we'll do something like this, and especially now, coming back from vacation. In a few weeks or so, I'm gonna go back on more structured training. Probably, it depends a little bit more with certain trips and stuff. But yeah, so I will do more supersets. I will do everything to make variations harder, since I don't have any weight. I will be more strict, a bit more strict than I would be otherwise. Like if you saw early the chin-ups I did, tucked, it's really like, while even that kind, if I just loosen it up a bit, I could add weight and do the same amount of reps. But so it's generally higher tempo, more supersets, more improvisation, keeping I'll be out of breath. I don't want to be out of breath going into some sets when I, train the way I do most times. But right now it's kind of good, keep high enough of a tempo out to the sun, so I always have a little bit elevated heart rate. sets. I did 3 sets. I did a mistake. For whatever reason, the streams are set to like unlisted first. So I streamed for 6 minutes to, you know, a link that no one can find. But my dips and 1 set of chin-ups there. Everything else, probably 2 sets. I mean, I don't even keep track of it, but 2-ish sets. You know, that's also a thing with a workout like this. I could start doing a variation. Be like, well, I think it's going to be better if I switch it up like this. And it's technically 2 different exercises, 1 set of each. But it's kind of like, for what I'm looking for, 2 sets there. You see what I mean? That's the thing, the more you know your body and training, how it works, it can be kind of intuitive. And not quite, even though I will be when I bulk. We're very strict, these are the sets, the reps, the weights, very like that. But especially for just stimulating, you know, just having a good workout to keep what you have. It's very easy to be intuitive when you've done this for long enough. But yeah, so next up is some kind of, it's sort of an upright row face pull hybrid. You know, it's kind of the same movement, upright row here, face pull here. It's a more rear delt here, but it's going to be somewhere in the middle with the ring. There, doing very strict at the start. Then when I can't pull myself up in a strict way, help out with a little hip thrust, control the negative. Just getting to a stimulus point that I like. And that's just judged from my, you know, my experience, me observing myself. It's sort of like the reps in reserve thing, only it's not about reps in reserve. It's like a degree of burn, almost, like a degree of stimulus. The muscles dying out to a certain degree. For the arms, I might do more sets. Let me just see what time it is. It's a little past 1 here. Okay, so, okay. Let's do 1 more. Don't need long rest for that one. Cha. Yig. Not. Can't see the entire name. Oh, guys, you are some watching. I'm starting to, at the start of the workout, I really didn't want to talk at all. I still won't be maybe the most talkative stream, but I can talk between sets. I have like 30 to 45 minutes max, maybe less, left. I don't have so much here, so I can take a little bit of time between. Okay, that's not. So I want another angle for this next exercise. I'll say this. Okay, I got a question, and I'll tell you, he's asking in Swedish. It's fine if you message me in Swedish and comment, but please do English for the other ones. He's asking what semen retention. It's just for the respect of everyone else. I'm going to translate it. You can help out by choosing English. First, I'll get to that after my set. I'll say this, rings. It's like such a great tool. Like, when you're a nerd and when you're serious, it's kind of like, why pick one tool when you can have the entire toolbox of body weight, rings, calisthenics, machines, right? But it's like this, if for whatever reason all gyms just go away, if I just had rings, I'd feel pretty okay about what I'd be able to do training-wise. It's like the single most, training equipment you can invest in and you get the most back from. These cost me these are probably not the cheapest ones. They cost like 80, 90 bucks American, 900 Swedish crowns, and I've had such great use for them for years, so it's like, why just pick one? In the end, I'm gonna combine this with gym and stuff, but now I could do so many things with these rings. So the Pelican curl, does it look okay? It's dark, the screen gets dark, so I can't quite see clearly. That's good, I think. No, but the Pelican curl, a really unique curl. You get a huge stretch on the biceps. It's like nothing. Way more than an incline curl, because you kind of lean into it with your entire body. The only issue is that it's kind of hard to standardize. So progressive overload, it's quite difficult. Like with the height, we put the rings, like both where they hang from, but the rope's length, where you put your feet and so on. But so it's very much doing as many reps as you can, I guess, works out well many times. And you'll see, often it's such a grindy exercise, but you get, when it looks like a reaching failure, you often have one or two left. So we'll see. I would typically, I don't know the angle now, let's say 5 to 8. If I had to guess, I'm guessing like 7 reps on this one. Look okay? Yeah. Let's do one last tweak. Right. They're low now. Oh. Okay, not more than 5. Yeah, I put them a little too low. Oh, seeing stars. Good enough. No, it was a little too steep of an angle there. Like 4 reps. That's a little less I guess according to the fatigue fearmongers, it was perfect. But like some people will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I generally prefer slightly higher. 6, 7, 8 is what I kind of like to get here. Let's see. Okay, Jig. I think that's your name. Do you think that semen retention plays a role to build muscle? The thing is, I think a thing like semen retention is like some people get like, what's the word? Well, it becomes like their thing. Like this is the thing. To do semen retention is like the solution to so many things. You get high testosterone, confidence, this, that. Well, the thing is, it's just a tool. It's not that in and of itself. If I start doing hardcore semen retention now, because you know I'm celibate, I've done some things with girls, and I mean I'm not. You see what I mean? Don't make me talk too much about that. But if I went like complete full celibate, semen retention, I don't think it would bring me anything at this point, because I already don't have a problem with doing that kind of thing too much, if you see. While, of course, if you're addicted to corn and you do that too much, like doing a period of fasting from this, which semen retention is, of course that can benefit you in many kinds of ways, including just feeling better about yourself, which is, you know, the thing that people don't think about, like a thing like testosterone. Of course, physical things matter, but it's your mood, the way you look at yourself. If you feel good about yourself, if you feel manly, that's gonna feel, you know, testosterone makes you feel manly, but feeling manly is good for your testosterone. Do you see what I mean? So the answer is that it could help for someone in a certain circumstance, but I don't, like, it's not that I'm gonna build more muscle if I start doing hardcore semen retention. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, let's do the next set. But please ask more things. It's fun to get to. Now I feel like talking a little bit, so I'm quite tired, but better. Oh, with a little cheat, got that last one. Want them actually even higher for the last one. Did I do wrong? There you go. There. Notice shit you buy in-ear sport earphones, because you have problems with them getting sweaty and falling out all the time. And then there's no fucking difference, even though they claim, and it's like, it's Sennheiser, I think, and they claim that, oh, this is the sport version. I've even tried different sizes on the different, whatever you call this little thing, you know, on an earphone. Still, if I get sweaty, they fall out like any earphone when I'm in the wrong position moving. Sport. Julian Burney, yeah, that's a pretty hard curl. Yeah, it's insane, man. You saw that last rep. I noticed I weigh under 8 yesterday. I had a long day traveling, and yeah, especially when you're leaner like I am now. This is like, I'm in my leanest sort of shape that I'm usually in right now. Popping, the veins are be popping. But it's interesting. It's like even in the short term, because you know, if I have more body fat on me, let's say, and I undereat on some days, now my performance might go down eventually. But when I'm leaner, it's like you have less in the tank at all times. Not bad energy to go around my day and stuff, but specifically how hard I can push sets. I noticed that I have, like these Pelican curls, even though I put it too high, too low first, I know that I would have gotten more if I was like fully recovered. Still a little empty and lose more between the sets. But yeah, point just is a great curl, man. I get all excited here. I'm in a really good place. I'm just kind of, like I said, tired. But this sort of, mix of exhausted and very inspired, like I think I said recently on a stream too. It's like one part of me just keeps, I'm excited about training. I want to tell you about the stuff. I'd love to do more lives, do more training live, really just involve guys in what I do. Because I teach so much by, I talk about myself in my videos. And of course, a degree is me wanting to share stuff about me, like personal reasons, but that's my way of teaching things. I am the example of points. Like this happened to me, and so people can relate to it, and da. Same thing though, that showing training, doing it, and talking about how I think during, that's really one of the best ways to teach training for real. Like these lectures with like how to build this muscle or how to do this, how to do that, they are useful. But really, this is when you put it all into practice. Junior Bernie, what do you think of workouts that try to get more volume, low-key, like push-ups in a certain amount of time? Please ask more questions if you are a few guys here, because it would be enjoyable for me at the end of the stream here. I'm talkative, but so certain volume, a certain amount of time. I mean, it's like what I think about the thing like that is it depends on who you are and what your goal is. Always, it's like I cannot say that generally it's like a bad thing to do. That would be good exercise for a lot of people. Maintaining strength and some flexibility by the high volume, by doing push-ups, engaging the core, moving, right? But for a goal like building muscle and getting stronger, if we're talking about bodyweight push-ups, this kind of approach, there's just, beyond being very weak, there's just not going to be much strength and muscle gains to be made from this. Like you could work up a higher volume of push-ups, if that's some kind of goal you have. You see what I mean? If it's for whatever reason useful to you to be able to do high volume of push-ups in some kind of sport or activity you do, then great, right? If it's just a satisfying goal, a satisfying practice for you to do a bunch of push-ups, then great. But if your goal mainly is I want to get a bigger chest and bigger shoulders and triceps, then you would be better off doing something more structured, lower volume, high intensity, lower rep range, like not super low, but lower often than what you do in that kind of volume approach. Yeah, progressive overload with that. So push-ups are great, but for instance, I'd recommend do 2-3 sets of ring push-ups, do 2-3 sets of elevated push-ups. You can't see the thing I'm pointing to now. Add weight if you're in the gym when you get strong enough, right? Progressively overload there. And it depends on what your goal is. You can elaborate if you want. Ask something more. I know there's not many people watching now, and it's fine. It's like this should be like a really bad time for me to stream. That's why I do this sort of silent stream. I just go live at the start, and I'm like, whoever feels like watching can watch. If some people show up, I can talk to you a little bit. But when I'm expecting to talk more for the stream, I will do it at a better time. But I'm training at this time. Better that happens before my set. Come on. It's been quite, not as much now as it has been, but it's been quite a windy, unusually windy spring and summer here. Let's see, so dark. Yeah. Okay, one last set. And now we're actually gonna do negatives, and I'm gonna get myself back into the top position to do extra negatives at the end. two more like this. Yep. One more. Earphone. Okay. And one more. Okay. Oh. If anything can give you sore biceps, that's it. You're the silent guys. It's a silent, somewhat silent stream. Somewhat silent as in, I'm talking, but you are not. Let's prepare for triceps. I think I want lower then. We're gonna do like a body weight skull crusher kind of thing. Also really cool body weight exercise. You could do it with one ring or two. Maybe I'll just do both. Show you guys. I'll start with two. It's probably okay. Maybe a little bit lower. You probably don't hear me when I speak silent, quiet for myself. There's so many kids here earlier. I don't know if anyone saw. Seems like some kids, because there are schools here, start. It's early August still. I would think it would be a little later until they start school. It happened. If you go back on this channel to like 2022, I would guess. Once when I was streaming here, all of these kids came up and were all curious, you know, what I'm doing. And I start trying to have a speech for them. Like I'm on camera like this and all the kids are standing on the other side because they see me film, right? And I start telling my story. Like I have the chance. I have a platform to speak to these kids. I talked about how I did stupid things like drinking and blah blah and how it didn't work out for me and stuff. Really trying to plant seeds in the kids, right? That doesn't sound good. In the metaphorical way, not in a nasty way. But yeah, then I could tell that maybe someone listened to something, or mainly they just think it's cool when an influencer. What's your YouTube channel? Are you live now? What's your handle? So they can go stalk me, maybe catch themselves in the background of the stream. Okay, let's try it here. But please, if someone is there, just talk to me. Just give me something to talk about. Is this good? I guess, yeah. Good enough. One thing when you train with rings, you have to, one thing with body weight exercise and rings in general is that many times since you have limited equipment or you know, point is that you have to actively put yourself in certain positions and actively move in a certain way. Do not cheat, not target the wrong thing. And so much with ring exercises, it's about keeping the core in position. So now I can start feeling, even though doing nothing that's like a crunch or something, at this point, all the volume for the core being involved in every single exercise. So if you hang like this, generally, in exercises, you take away the core. And you often put yourself in a easier position, like on a push-up. It's going to be easier. It's like letting the butt lift off on a bench. So, you know, to do it, it's a double win, right? You target better what you want by keeping the core engaged. You actually, like, this is part of why I have a big chunky core. It's in part genetic, but I do so much that engages the core, often in a passive way too. I do train it like this to the abs, but all these kinds of exercises just builds general core strength, thickness, what's density. Still no one is talking. You know, I find it interesting though, I must say, that so many people, when it's on the table, to actually have an interaction with someone on the screen, you know, when you watch someone, like that you would still prefer to just watch. Like at times I understand it, but it's so often on live streams, it's a minority that's active in the chat at all. Like we're talking single messages even. And, you know, it's just, as me as a coach, I'm like, I want you to be more outgoing, not just to give me material in the stream. It's just like, why? Why do you do that? Why do you keep yourself small and quiet when you could actually talk to me about anything? It's so interesting. Top messages, well, all messages. I'm sorry if I missed something. Hey, I'm really sorry. The fucking top chat, that function, you know, worthless top chat. It very arbitrarily chooses what messages to show you. Okay, so I do have some. I'm really sorry, guys, that I missed some things. Adrix, for instance, yo, my guy, yo. And Super Cesura said, hi. Can I do something like that? No? Okay. So I hope you're around. Memento Mori 13. Hey, hi, what's the purpose of this stream? Can I ask all kinds of training questions? Or is there a specific... Like, it's just me, if you didn't hear it, this is just me feeling open. And I know it's not the ideal time to stream for me, but I'm going to train outside. I can put the camera up. I started out a bit silent. You see what's happening in the chat. And then now I feel a bit more like talking. So I'm going to, for the last, I don't have too much left here. But for the coming 30 minutes or so, I'll finish a workout and talk a bit to you. And you can ask whatever you want. Julian Burney. So maybe not a bad approach, but a harder variation with a longer rest time. Sten Bäckström. Where are you now? I mean, regarding diet, training, etc. You cut this spring. Are you maintaining now or... So let me do one more set, and I'll use that for the next tangent. Is this okay? Like, how do I want it? More like this, maybe. I think this will be okay. So let's do one more triceps like that, and then one ring. That's funny that you ask what's the purpose of the stream. It's like, do I give people the impression that it's not okay to just talk to me, you know? Because am I like intimidating in that way? Because I'm like, I want you to talk, and I'm gonna be real, but all nice and happy, really, that you bring input for the stream. But someone texted me. I'll say this before I do the set. Someone texted me and was like, "Oh man, I've been following you for quite some time, and this is when I finally." You know, muster up the balls to reach out to you. And I want to say you have really helped me. He said, helped me with pushing my limits, like going to failure, training closer to failure. It's made a huge difference, thanks. And I'm like, well, that's such a sweet message, you know. that you like have the balls to like. It makes me feel cool a little bit that you think it's like scary to text me, but also I'm like, if you're respectful, I'll always engage with you. I probably will for a little bit, even if you aren't, you know. But so ask me anything. You always can. The worst thing that can happen is that I say, well, that's not relevant now or something. But I probably won't. Okay. One with 2 rings, and then one with 1 ring. So much more in this one. See, because I don't want this. I want this. See, it's very tempting to cheat here. But instead, grind through in the right way. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be good. Those rings are really useful. Stenbeck, sir. Sorry, I have not followed your content that closely. Just watch particular videos that seem relevant / interesting to me. First time catching you live. So, thing about me is and my content, give stuff that you think might not interest you a chance. Watch a few minutes of a video, then you can determine if it's for you or not. Because the first minutes can always be some kind of intro that's relevant. I just, you know, just to set the tone, like, oh, I'm here doing this, la da 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 da, blah, 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 blah. Okay, get to the topic, right? But many of my titles, you know, there's an idea with a lesson or the point in the video, but it might not on the surface seem to you that the video would interest you if you don't actually listen to the entire thing. But yeah, man, first time catching me live. So I'll say this because I know Sten had a question also. Lives, I will most of the time do them later. But yeah, at times that I know more people will be watching, I'm more actively here to talk to you. Now it's like, just because I can, just because it doesn't hurt. And it will, you know, this is easy content for me to make. If no one talks in the chat, at the very least I'll have a video out on the channel when I go through workout, and whoever wants to watch it can watch it, right? So I said somewhat silent because I also felt like just training in silence first. But then it just becomes many streams, whether it's one of these when I count on fewer people showing up or a bigger one, it's very much up to the chat, what happens with a stream. Like I can go off and I can give myself ideas on a stream, but many times I'm triggered to go off on stuff by what you say. So yeah, man, this stream can be whatever you want if you bring good input and questions. Eye Slipper, hey man, how you doing? I'm doing great, man. A little tired, but I'm good. How are you? Finishing up this workout soon. Talking a little bit here, people. Let's say, okay, Julian Bernie, by the way, now I understand what this message that I didn't see first. That he said, so maybe not a bad approach, but a harder variation with a longer rest time. You said about your push-up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But still, I would, you know, what I say, again, maybe not a bad approach. For what though? You still didn't quite specify what you're looking for. You know, I would tend, generally, I think less about volume than intensity, right? That it's like this workout now. I would do it more structured if it wasn't this freestyle maintenance. Also, you asked about maintaining, Sten. I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, I could do similar exercises. It would just be a more structured fashion. and probably more sets in total. But it's still about how hard I take those sets. Like I judge it, like I auto-regulate my training even. 2 to 3 sets on most things these days. It's just that I know that 2 sets is often, with very few exceptions, like something like a Romanian deadlift doing as many reps as you can when you go heavy, that's often enough. But many exercises, I just know that even if I push 1 set to failure, like at least 1 more will give me a good stimulus. And sometimes after the 2nd set, I can just feel I'm done. I hit it well. If I feel like, no, I think I can actually do another set and not even lose that much in performance, I'll go for the 3rd set. But you see, 3 sets, if I don't have a approach to work on the form of something like a squat, never go above 3 sets, really. So the volume approach in general, not not a big fan of it for the purpose of getting stronger and building muscle. So let's see now. You said Stenbeck said, where are you now? I mean, regarding diet, training, etc. You cut this spring, are you maintaining now? Or so it's funny. It's like I want to have some place where some of these things are just summarized, because I feel so many times I talk about myself and my stuff all the time on videos, and so I feel like I've talked about my system that's been the same for years so many times, but of course people are going to come around and not have seen it. But so if I try to summarize it, because if you take, I'm not sure what video, I definitely have a video when I talk about this in detail, but I will have mentioned it many times. Pretty much from soon, if I start where I'm gonna go to next, and I'm gonna end up here, like the timeline of how I do things. At the end of summer, so later August, early September, that's when I actively go into bulking, eating more. I'm gonna probably not bulk as hard this time, but I'm push food and push progress, gain weight, even though it's slower, gaining weight, moving up in numbers in the gym is the goal. And then I will be very structured with my program. I'm gonna be less outside then, even if it's still nice weather. I'm gonna go more to the gym, at least in part, for some workouts. And I'm gonna keep bulking. At the end of the year, I've done a Christmas fast of 5 days since 2019. I've done it every year with little spins on it, but most of the time it's a 5-day fast, which entire purpose isn't to lose weight. It's a sort of mental and physical reset for the next year, the upcoming year. A great start to the year to start it with having done a 5-day fast, honestly. But of course, you lose weight doing a 5-day fast, so it is indeed a little bit of a mini cut there as well. But then I go straight back to bulking, which I will do to around April, May. Like you pointed out, I was cutting then I will cut for like 6 to 8 weeks. Then the goal is a sort of maintenance during the summer. However, I just know that when summer hits, it's very likely that I'm going to end up leaner, just because the way I move about throughout my days. I'm going to be more active. It's hotter, it's easier to have higher metabolism, higher energy expenditure in the summer. So now like for instance, I've been training, I did that before the stream, a few muscle ups. And so during the summer, I stay in good shape, I maintain the muscle I have. I might practice some exercises, like a Bulgarian split squat I've been doing, because I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm not really pushing weight. I'm training quality of the movement. Wow, the wind. But I'm preparing to like push it harder when I start eating more. And then I have skill goals, like a muscle up that doesn't really take for me to bulk or something. So it's a sort of maintenance mode during the summer. And I'm at the end of that period now, like towards the end, I'm still in that period. But that's why you see me do a little workout like this, where I don't, because also I wouldn't do this on many of my, if I didn't plan it in a very specific way, that I somehow can be in a good gym and have the camera going, I wouldn't bring you on my like typical workouts most of the time, because I want to be focused. Now I can randomly feel like taking more time to talk to the camera, and I don't really care, you know, because it's maintenance mode. So I hope that answers your question about that. Matomori13, you are a great inspiration with what you have achieved in under a decade. I've been muscle training almost every week since I was 15, 33 now, and I am not quite where you are in terms of muscles. Of course, my training were not good in teenage years. Well, so many things to say about that. I mean, because that you have been training for a certain time period doesn't really say anything, because, you know, and this now I'm going to say some general things, so don't think that I'm dishing out stuff to you. But most people that you see in the gym, even that you see regularly, they are just not doing, like they're not doing what they need to make progress. Like they might exercise, it might be a good habit that if you've been training for a certain amount of years, for a certain amount of days per week, it can be still good for your health. You know, you go and move and use your body. In terms of building muscle, most people just have no clue what they're doing. That's just the facts of it. And so something random when you're completely new might work, and that if you do some things hard, you might make a little progress here and there. But really figuring it out well, you know, that's going to make the difference. And so I'm on the spectrum, clearly. I come from hitting rock bottom with those panic attacks, finding training and making it like an obsession of mine, a positive obsession, right? Yeah, you see the combination of this, that I am someone that tends to, like, when I find something that I like become crazy, obsessed with it, but also having that motivation from me. I did not train like you did, right? So I have to bring it in as some kind of thing, like I'm doing so poorly, I need to take better care of my health. I happen to find that when I do prioritize training, even for my health, I get some aesthetic results that I want as well. And now I can have fun with it and be a nerd and push it forward, right? So yeah, man, if you're ever interested in leveling up your game, reach out for coaching. I do have the cheaper program that's more training focused, if you don't need a deeper personal development stuff with you. Because I'm sure you've training for a long time and you say you're nowhere near me. I'm sure you could get closer to me, is the point, with just the right approach. So I'm happy if the videos are helpful. I'm just saying that option is always on the table. Muscle man. Sten Beckström says thanks. So I'll do another set of triceps. We have a handful of guys here. Now I think most of you that are here actually say something in the chat at least. But yeah, let's do one more set of this. I'll talk to you more. I'll just improvise some random last exercises. Let me know if there's, you can give me quests here. Like, what would you do if you're looking to train this muscle? If you're trying to do this exercise with the rings, what would you do then? Like, it's up to you. But let's see. So hard to see if it's a good. Yeah, I think this should be. Is this okay? I think. Okay, so the one ring. Honestly, with the two rings, it's kind of cool. You can get into this sort of position. You can even pronate with your arms. But I feel like with one ring, you can kind of push yourself into a bit of a deeper stretch. And that's one thing I forgot in my recent video with Eric Bugenhagen and the science fatigue fitness. The deep stretch that the science folks are so focused on. It's something I really like, actually. I'm not dogmatic about it, that you have to do it in everything, but I just find that many exercises are really beneficial, both for hypertrophy and flexibility, if you do long range of motion but emphasize the stretch position. So this one, I often get sore in the triceps because of a good stretch. There's something that's easier with leaning into deeper stretch with one ring. The music. Let's do some extra negatives. Two more. Oh. What's good about the rings is that you train this kind of training, it's such a great way to practice connection to the body, right? Because you have to think so actively of what you do. When it starts to get tough, it's not just about pushing. It's even more than on many free-weighted exercises or machines. Do not cheat with the form. Like when you in this one, when you keep your pelvis tucked and lean into as deep of a stretch as you can with your pelvis tucked, it's going to be so, it's very tempting to just release. It's going to be much easier. But that you keep doing this, like, you push yourself hard, put yourself very actively in a certain position, you resist the cheating that you want to do to compensate, really focus on doing it in a certain way. These are the things, guys, I get so inspired when I talk about this, that I don't see most people. This is what I hate, but all the science-based yapping about stuff, it's like, yeah, we can have some data and research on like how many sets are ideal and volume and frequencies and stuff, but so much it's about you mastering this vehicle, the body. Of course, you're gonna apply some of the things that the science confirms with a certain volume, certain exercise selection, progressive overload. But like the details, it's really about you becoming good at this, you getting to know your body. Champs is a little bit of gyno. What a fucking joke. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like you guys see ghosts. Memento Mori 13. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think that I found my way by listening to people like you and researching. I never said nowhere near you. Haha, just a little behind. No, I don't know. You said something like not quite as much, or I don't know. I didn't mean anything. I don't know. You said you were behind, not as much as me. If I said nowhere near, I'm just tired between, and I didn't remember exactly what you said. I've seen a lot of progress after I began bulking 5 years ago. I think I have anxiety held me back many years. Yeah, Champ said, haha, joking. Well, then that's funny. Because at this point, it's such a weird thing, guys, to absolutely not want to do steroids, right? Like, I know that there can't be any proof that I've taken them because I haven't, right? All the reasons people make up that you are, the proof that they see. Yeah, it's just interesting. When you are on the other side of that, knowing that this person that wants me to prove things and argue for things, it's a complete thing they've made up. And it doesn't matter what you say or do. And the psychology becomes so very apparent then, that, refusing to face that, hey, people are better than you at stuff, you could try harder, you could train harder. As human beings, we're very interesting with the way we speak and stuff, because to really mean what you say with your words, you have to be very conscious and self-aware, because so many times the words we say, they are just the ego stories we make up about to protect ourselves, the way we actually feel, So it's like I realized I argue with like haters and fake natty accusers, but so much of it is for people on the side that might not be like the biggest lovers of me or haters, but that are unsure about things. You see what's happening there, right? But the point is that kind of person is not, like, if that was the Pelican or whatever your name is, if that was you that was so triggered and mad at me and doing all this fake natty shit, if you came around, that's great. But generally, most of these people don't want to be convinced, okay? They say, like, bring proof of this, do that, but they don't want that. They just want to feel like that they're right, that you must be cheating, and there's nothing wrong with them and what they're doing, no. So, I'm not, like, even if I have no gyno at all, I'm not surprised by anything people say now. It's been the face, it's been the voice, it's been, what's more has it been? Yeah, the gut, because I have anterior pelvic tilt, so I have a little bit of a belly, like this. If I really release it, and it will show here and there. It's not anterior pelvic tilt, of course. It's growth hormone, gut. What more is it? All the proofs. Yeah, the funniest thing is also the veins. Like when it's like you don't get that sort of veins naturally, that fullness. It's like these guys don't realize how much they're blowing up my ego. It's like, man, telling me I look full, I have 2 good veins for it to be true. I look super enhanced, but I'm not enhanced. So that's what I try to tell people, that yeah, the natural bodybuilder Theo can feel really happy about getting this sort of input, but the coach Theo that wants to reach people, inspire them that they can do a lot naturally, is quite annoyed that, okay, I don't do steroids, I really don't want to, I know that. There's no way, I have to fucking prove it. Innocent, I mean guilty until proven innocent. And it's like, there's a part of me that's like, because some people, if you could somehow bring like undeniable proof and put in their face, I'm saying that the hater doesn't want to be convinced, right? The fake natty person. But some people would, if you could somehow be like, this is it. I have proof. I'll show you a picture that somehow shows that I must be natural. Some of these people would have no choice but to change their mind and realize, hey, maybe a lot more was possible naturally than I thought. Yeah. So for me, it's a very interesting thing, and that's why I choose to interact quite a bit with that. People make up all kinds of things that I'm insecure. You know, it looks insecure. The other noble natties, the other natural bodybuilder YouTubers, they don't do that. They don't talk that way, do that much. Well, I'm me. I'm Theo with Uncommon Sense channel. I'm not other natural YouTubers. I'm me, and what I do is not just about bodybuilding. That being said, I do think a lot about how much to do this thing, not overdo it. Chap says, it's good developed chest. This is the same guy that said gyno. Everyone say everyone has gyno when they have chest muscle. People think I'm on steroids because I get very lean. Exactly, man. Exactly. You know, that's what I mean with the veins, what people don't understand. Like one picture that I've used recently now, it's really, you know, I think there are like, you know, I would, for instance, never Photoshop a picture of myself, but I think there's like a sort of positive, or like, what should I say, acceptable angling, right? It makes sense that if you take a picture without actually manipulating it as changing something in editing software, just putting yourself in the ideal conditions to take a good picture, to look good, that makes sense to me. Then I try to be honest with that. At times, you know, you post that, but then every now and then maybe post a picture in uglier lighting to be like, hey, just, you know, you do see a very like enhanced version of the physique, in the sense that you always see me show it from the, you know, best side, like the best setting. But yeah, point is that the last, you know, I'm on vacation in this old school gym it's no air conditioning whatsoever in there. It gets so hot. It's been a hot and humid summer in general, and it gets so hot in there. And I train a little bit like this higher tempo with what I do. Like I get a good pump. I have a sick tan from being out in the sun peak summer, right? And I'm lean as fuck. And then I'm gonna look sick. I'm gonna have low body fat, swole muscles. I'm gonna be sweaty. I'm tan, so my skin looks better. And yes, veins will be popping. It's like, because that guy that showed up earlier on this stream and seemed to apologize because he saw me in this lighting now. And that's incredible if that's the case, because he was so mad at me in the comments and saying all this shit about being emotional because of the estradiol, knows all this shit about gear that I don't know at all, you know, to make up the stories. But it seems like he came around. But yeah, it was on the first picture that triggered him was the picture when I'm standing in perfect conditions. And I know beforehand, like, yeah, people are gonna be stupid and mistake everything I just listed, the sweat, the good pump, the tan, the low body fat, steroids, you know. Yeah, he said, never had more accusations when you're lean and you're eating 1700 calories. It's funny, right? You don't get nearly, I get some of the really nerdy people when I'm bulking. Oh, you still have abs at 90 kilos or something. That's not possible naturally at your height, blah, blah. Because they made up these limiting standards for themselves, right? But the funny thing is that most people, it's actually, for me, it's both that I will get more client requests when I'm generally leaner in my content. People just think, it's interesting. The people are drawn to you more then. So it's really noble, you know, to go into bulk when you work with this and you do coaching, right? Sacrifice that you know that, yeah, well, it just works that way. Like new people, especially, will not be drawn to you as much when you're not as lean. But yeah, the second thing that people just think when you're actually eating less and weighing less, maybe even losing some muscle in the process just because of the way it looks. That's what people confuse with steroids. He said, because, and never had more accusations because no one else really diets like this. They think you're an athlete or steroids, not in between. Yeah. And you say you look like you have 10 years of lifting, or 5 years minimum. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, with body fat, even people that are decently healthy and you know, have trained quite a bit, maybe are quite strong, maybe have some muscle, you know, but most people have just not mastered the diet part, and most people don't realize, like, how much more, even though they're not unhealthy fat, how much more fat they're actually carrying. So let me see here the clock. Okay, actually, because I am having fun here, I'm not in a big rush. I went a little longer here than I planned, but I'm gonna have to go soon. Let me see, let's actually, I did everything I set out to do here. Maybe I'll talk to you a little bit, maybe I'll do some kind of last exercise, just one set, it's kind of finisher here. I'll actually go to the shade a little bit so I can see the stream, the screen better. And I'm gonna get you die minion, but champ. So yeah, you look like 10 years of lifting or 5 years minimum. Accusations are more about the person's own baseline. If they believe they can get there, yeah, can't get there, they will make accusations. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Billy. The one thing is you are eating differently from 99% of people, so you will look different to 99% of them. Yeah, exactly. It's like I've mastered fasting, but it's still people just don't have the knowledge. Actually, because someone commented on an old video of mine from like last year, I don't really watch my content back so much, you know. It will happen at a time like that when someone comments on something. And when my old video that many people found this channel from last year went viral, I didn't even watch it then. You know, I remember kind of what it was about. But so I actually started watching that today. Like I say, the video was, you know, what being ripped taught me about women. But being ripped, the being in the body shape and cutting it, it was so much newer to me. So I can see that when I listened to what I was actually saying about it, it's like, I was thinking about those things because those things are things I just, you know I have a completely different relationship to being lean now. It's not new to me at all. I've done this back and forth so many times and reached much higher levels with it also. Yeah, but the point is, so I could see that even me, when I was in decent shape, thought differently about this. So normal people that haven't done it, they're just not gonna get it at all, many of them. Let's say, Sten Bäckström, I love this natty community. It's so refreshing. I'm in a crazy world. I'm 61 and would never touch it. That's why I'm inspired by you. Touch it, as in touch the steroids. Yeah, man. Well, that's really cool, Sten. Cool with a bit of an older guy. Everyone is welcome here, of course. Memento Mori 13. It depends on the image for me. When I saw some of yours, I also suspected steroids. But now I realize it's all about lightning and pump. Yeah, man. I mean, I have really good physique. I mean, I get crazy, you know, response in real life. So many times, whether I'm dressed or like this, you know, the first time I meet someone, they will bring up that I'm in good shape and ask me about it. Do you understand? So I have a very good physique, but yeah, of course I will show it from its best, like I said, in the pictures and that. Then what I'll say, you know, because I make the point about the psychology of the fake natty hater and stuff, is that unfortunately, of course, you can just, like these people we're talking about, there's the one that like just, they act as if they know and attack you and like prove this, do that, you know. But of course, with the climate that there is when people do lie about it, and just the fact that they exist, of course, it's something you have to consider. It's just unfortunate, you know. It sucks like again, not even for me personally so much. Like if I didn't do YouTube and stuff, like it's just really a compliment if people think I am on steroids, you know. But when you want to reach people and inspire them, it's so like, because this fucking thing that I don't even want to do is out there. Even guys that aren't haters are gonna have to doubt some things, because there are definitely people with worse physiques that take gear, right? And yeah, you know, it is what it is, of course. But that's what I mean. I would hope that people in the end also can judge a personality. You're gonna see someone showing up here. Tja. Ja, jag flyttar dem du.
Jag ska bara göra några pull-ups.
Absolut. No, but I would hope that people can judge a person's personality too, like, because there are going to be exceptions with some complete psychopath that can just put on a huge show and pretend they're natural when they're not. But most people, even like immoral people, they don't want to lie. You know, that's why you're going to get these things like never saying outright, yeah, I am 100% natural, I never touched steroids, like saying it that clearly, right? It's going to be like if you ask them, are you natural? It's like, you know, I've been training since I was 15 and my dad always taught me that blah, 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 blah. You know, they're going to start telling some story that's supposed to make you believe they're natural, but they don't really answer the question, right? Well, for me, I would hope it comes across that I'm mainly about health here. Like, I love the aesthetics and bodybuilding and it's fun, but not that it's too high of a price. Take the steroids, I don't want it. I want people that follow me to not do it. Like, people are free to do what they want, but my teaching, my message, that's it, right? And it's such a weird thing to have to take into the equation, like, well, because there is this drug, you know, these steroids that some people take and some people lie about it. You cannot just, I don't know. You see what I mean? Some people are just gonna not believe it. Yeah, exactly. McBilly says, I feel like you can just tell if someone is natural or not without listing off some special reasons. And exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't really have to. Like I said, there's going to be few exceptions, but the way I think of it is like people, it's also the thing that people don't want to be music by accident. People don't want to be fooled, you know. So they rather like distrust someone, assume that they're lying. But that's why I made that video, but assume that I'm natural, because even if I wouldn't be, you would have more to gain by assuming that I just am, right? And so, because what's going to happen, if you are smart, discerning, but generally tend to side with the positive, like, okay, I'll choose to believe that this person is natural. Okay, you could be fooled by a fake natty here and there. But what's not going to happen is that you're going to do the opposite, that someone is natural. That you'll be like, no, I think they're on steroids. And you're going to have more to gain from that. And these are the things, you know, you want these people to understand, but they won't, right? But I'm going to go soon, guys. I'll just see if you have something more. I'll do some kind of last set of something here. Maybe just a crazy set of push-ups. Like some kind of super ultra set. Tomorrow 13. Don't worry, I also get suspected of serious in the gym. Often, also never touch it, never want to risk my health. That's the thing, guys, though. You often say to me that don't worry about it, and it's a compliment, and you have to see that there's a difference between just being a person that trains and being accused, or people think you take steroids, and being a content creator, a coach, someone that really wants to influence people with a certain thing. It's not just about how I personally feel or worry about the accusations, right? It's you see what I mean? It's for the audience. It's not about me. Like, of course, to some degree, it's about me. I'm not going to claim to be like this saint, completely egoless. Don't think anything about what I want. But generally, the reason I get involved with all of this is not to protect me and my reputation or something. It's to teach people the psychology of behavior, use it as the example and projections and all of that. But also people that are on the fence, you know, that have been just tricked, gotten these ideas in their head by the fitness industry. It has to be addressed, is the point. Nell, hey man, what's up? Would you recommend dry fasting for gut issues? got long-standing IBS type of symptoms, and it's honestly depressing. Makes me want to not go out. Love your videos though, thanks. We'll get to that. Billy McBilly, getting some sunlight myself during the Irish windstorm. That's cool, man. I'll go do one last set. I'll catch my breath a bit. I'll answer about, like the dry fasting, honestly, I can answer it immediately. That I don't know about specifically dry fasting. Like, why are you thinking, what gut issues? Why specifically dry fasting, you know? Because I'll say that I think actually, generally, for gut issues, I would tend to think that the saltwater fast is better because it's going to be easier to get like bowel movements during the fast when you consume salts. Even with, I use coffee on the fasts. When I don't do like a stimulant-free fast, I use black coffee, and in part of it is to like trigger bowel movements, because that can be an issue on fast that, you know, it's not that you eat and what you just ate comes out, but eating triggers a bowel movement, right? So suddenly, when you've been eating and you stop, there can be a little trouble with getting everything out. And dry fasting, like it can happen, but it's harder. So I'm just not seeing why specifically dry fast for gut issues. I would tend to do saltwater, big quantities of it, and even coffee to just empty things out. Yeah. Getting a little dry mouth here. I drank too little yesterday too. I've drunk, do you say that? My bottle of electrolytes. It's quite hot that I'm speaking. I'll do some kind of just mega set here. Like, this is gonna be all improvised, guys. I have like an idea of what I want to do. I'm just thinking a little bit. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I have to improvise a little bit. I have a little bit of a system came up with now. Start like this. Never gonna get to keep my earphones. This is now, I'm not sure. I want to do 3 push pull. Not sure about the 3rd pull. Make something up. Yeah. One last push is easy. Use it deep. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna pick my stuff up and leave. So about, just because you're asking about being out of breath, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be more out of breath right now than I usually am. Well, at this point, I've done a lot. I'm tired after traveling. I was dehydrated. I ate too little. I'm talking to you in between. So now, I don't feel that gassed. I feel good, but I get more like having to breathe deeply. And of course, that set I just did, quite intense. But I'm going to see the specifics of your question in a bit. Let me just see if I can start rolling this one up. Just read it again a little bit. Possible to be in good cardio shape as a natural with loss of muscle mass. So I've been healthy bulking 5 years straight, getting too heavy for running. 95 kg, as it causes me knee pain now. Yeah, like I said, it's funny that I know I'm going to be more out of breath than I usually am on a day like this, and I just did this intense ass set. So it's funny that I'm supposed to answer this as I'm still breathing a bit deeply. But honestly, for me, I mean, I don't weigh that much, and I don't do as much cardio when I weigh more, like when I bulk up. The heaviest I was this year, and ever been, was 92.5 kilos. And I still have abs, a shoulder vein, bicep vein, but obviously less definition, but way heavier. And haven't even tried to do something like running then. But I talked about going to a rave recently. I actually was on a rave during my bulk, but I was sober, first of all. But I was dancing sober, bulked up, from like 10 in the evening to 6 in the morning. The main thing, of course, that's not necessarily intense cardio, it depends on how you dance. But the main thing was that my lower back was just fucking dead from that. But what I'll say generally, what I notice is that when I train hypertrophy workouts at a high intensity, like you see the intensity, of course this was a special set, but I get a lot of cardio. That's even another reason I'm a fan of high intensity hypertrophy training. I don't mean Mike Menzer style necessarily, just having a high intensity in your training is that you will get cardio at the same time. And especially if you do this frequently, it's like a sort of interval training. And then especially if it's combined with taking lots of steps, just walking a lot, being active. I find that when I run and when I'm leaner, I don't have any problems from like weighing too much and something hurting like that. And I find that my cardio for actually doing more pure cardio activity is decent, is pretty good. So I keep saying this, it all depends on how you approach your training. It's about your balance, your regimen. Someone like me, the only reason for me to implement more direct actual cardio is if I wanted to improve my performance on cardio, because I already get decent cardio, enough for health, enough for me to just feel good in my life from what I do. So yeah, but if I'm to say some finishing point on that you got knee pain at your heaviest, maybe do something with less impact then, like biking, rowing, even a cross trainer. You know, the cross trainer can be kind of silly for some people to use, but when you do it consciously for the reason that, hey, I want to do something like running, a little bit more full body because you're gonna move your arms maybe a bit more, but also with low impact on the joints. You're just doing this, right? Yeah, and he laughed. Probably that. On the fact that I was kind of out of breath when I get a question about being out of breath. So I'll just keep you guys around now for the last few minutes as I start walking back. Because now I've really reached the very top of the time I can spend on the stream today. Whoop. You said, yeah, I've been walking and shadowboxing. Cool. Do you know what I do? The kind of music I've been listening to now, that unfortunately, I can play it out loud. Really, I would love that. I would love to have the music that I like to train to on streams, but I'm gonna get copyrighted then. But I like to take, like I did this on my second to last day on my vacation, being away. Listen to funk, and then just do improvised kind of ugly dancing. And let's see if I have some in my ears. I'm so tired now though. I have way higher energy when I do it then. But actually I like it. Because instead of running in a monotone way, I just have fun expressing myself through movement to music, and I don't even think about that it's tough, because it's just fun. But yeah, too tired for that now. If you have any last thing you want to tell me, we'll go. I'm just going to be here for like 5 minutes more. Just because it makes it easier when I have to put on this tank. But it's a cool thing to do. I used to do it as not pre-workout, but workout amplifier. Sometimes back in the day, when I lived in a different house with a different basement, in a different basement gym. I used to sometimes in the summer, specifically when I had this approach that's more chill, more improv, more intuitive. I used to, when I didn't feel like training really, low motivation to do it, I would just put the live stream on when I'm supposed to do squats. And now I feel this pressure, like I'm being watched. Gotta do it well. Can't be like, do you know what? I'll actually take a chill leg workout today. Can't do that. Did I take everything? Yes. So now I'm gonna have to eat a little later lunch than I usually would. This is what happens to me in the summer, guys. I'm like, I get all caught up in doing things I like. I don't suffer from hunger so much. So I always get behind on eating a little bit. That's why I get lean without even trying. No, what I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna have some client calls on Monday afternoons. Yeah, here we have everything. Like the vertical stream. Like you prefer that it's vertical? Since it's more of a stream that I don't expect too many people to come in and watch. Like I said, I just can put the camera up and train, why not, see what happens. But I figure I can try vertical this time, you see. So you said more, Mento Mori. I can't box more than 3 minutes without losing breath. So considering whether it's worth keep getting more muscle mass, or should I consider sizing down? Box with full intensity, of course. Well, I mean, I don't know what you look like, but you said 95 kilos, and I don't know your height, but like I said, when I bulked up to 92.5, I feel heavier, but I still don't feel like, I'm like too heavy. And now I weigh like 83, 84, so it's quite a bit less, but I definitely don't feel too heavy now. And that's with people thinking I'm too big to be natural and shit, right? So size down, you can cut fat, it would be the thing, you can get lean. And then it's always like, how far you want to take it with bodybuilding and building muscle, that's entirely up to you. Like I say, like people can do what they want, but of course I have a channel here and I have a certain way of teaching. And so what I say is I think every man should be ripped. Like having muscle, being strong enough, having some muscle developed on the entire body, being able to cut down and be lean. And then beyond a shape that suits that. That could be what I look like after like 1 or 2 years, you know. That's up to you. It's not like you have to. It's personal preference. So if someone has more being light than cardio goals, it's, you know, it's okay that you prioritize differently. Yeah, you said that I'm probably a bit too fat, maybe. Yeah, I think so. And another thing too, that you lose breath quickly is not necessarily the sign. It's like, how long does it take for you to recover between, like when you start losing your breath and if you rest. And for me, it's also so different. Like on a day like this, I still felt like I had decent, what should I say, not cardio, it's not even, like this is a thing, guys, sometimes I train in so many different settings. There are just no little things that come different. And today I feel like I had good energy to push, but that I gas out a bit more between sets. And I'm gonna breathe a bit more deeply than I would on some days, but I still don't feel like, I'm all out of breath. While if I, for instance, sleep really poorly, it's gonna be I'm gonna be so much more out of breath and for a longer time between sets too. So, a thing like that, you know, you have to judge on some kind of standard. When everything is the way it's supposed to be, when, you know, you've slept well, you're eating well, if you get out of breath easily and it takes a long time to recover, okay, maybe you have to do something. Move for gains. Yeah, it's easier to type on the phone like this. Okay. Says, I'm in Italy right now. It's so hot, man. I love it. Yeah, well, man, I felt bad when I said goodbye on that stream. I wanted to wish you a good trip in Italy. So yeah, man, I'm glad you're having a good time, enjoying it. Matti, area 12. Hi, Uncommon Sense. Thanks. Give me a ton of fire, great vibes and energy. Thanks about giving. Well, you're fine, man. That's fine, man. Mentomori. I just want to know whether you think it's possible to have big muscles and good cardio at the same time. Yeah, definitely. Recover very fast, 1 minute or less, maybe a couple of minutes. So you're probably not too bad off. Like maybe lose some weight and see what happens. I'll say this, do you know Jeffrey Verity Schofield? That guy used to be a runner and he's fucking huge now, muscle-wise, and he's still good at running. And he talks about this too. So maybe go check him out because he's actually doing more active cardio. More for gains. I agree, but I do think if you want to look impressive and have the social benefits of being jacked, you have to maximize your muscular building potential naturally. So I'm surprised that you say you have the social benefits, man, because, you know, it's not really only about the look, right? We know that the external is a manifestation of the internal, and it's really the way people look at you when you're a certain shape and have certain energy, right? And he says also, I appreciate, man, I'm having a great time. Had pizza for breakfast. Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, and he also recommends to Memento Mori, Jeffrey. And Memento Mori says, I follow him too. I'll go now, guys. I'm not gonna, I have to go now. So, you know, goodbye. Thank you for checking in. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.